Hi, this is Steven Einstein from Vixcontango, and in this video we're going to cover what's included in the Vixcontango Hashtag subscription. The Vixcontango Hashtag subscription is a set of ETF related reports. They can be found here on the left-hand menu in the ETF Central section. The first one is the daily summary. We have an asset class standings report, which then we have an ETF standings report, ETF correlations, and gold correlations. Let's start with the daily summary. The daily summary report is contains a set of 68 ETFs which were chosen to represent the entirety of the investment universe. So in the first section here we see USA related stock indices such as the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, and industry related indices such as transport, financials, etc. In the second section here we have international stock indices. We have some aggregate stock indices such as the All World Index, Developed Market Index, Emerging Market Index, as well as individual country ETFs, which are ordered by the size of their economies. Then we have a section for bonds. We have kind of the All Bonds Index, the 20-year treasuries, 10-year treasuries, muni bonds, investment grade corporate bonds, and junk bonds. Then we have a section on commodities with the All Commodities Index, Agriculture Index, base metals, oil, nat gas, copper, gold, silver, etc. Then we have a section on volatility, the short volatility and the long volatility ETFs, and then we have a section on currencies where we cover the 5 most important currencies: the dollar, the euro, the yen, the Aussie dollar, and the British pound. So what this report has, it has a trend column, which essentially, if the 50-day moving average slope is smaller than minus 10%, it's a down sloping trend, and if it's bigger than 10%, it's an up sloping trend. So you can see this is the slope here. So you can see the slope of the all stock is minus 24%. So therefore, it's in a downtrend, and vice versa. The TOT, for example, is in a upsloping trend here above 16%. So it's the green arrow is up. Here, this is the last closing value. This is the beginning of the year value, and this is the daily return, the month-to-date return, the quarter-to-date return, and the year-to-date return. This value here is the slope of the 50-day moving average, and this is the standard deviation of the 50-day moving average. This column contains the 1-year high for this ETF, and this is the drawdown from this 1-year high. This is the 1-year low for this ETF, and this is the rally from that 1-year low. The range is simply the difference between the 1-year high and the 1-year low. It tells you how far this index has traveled over the past year. This section here visually tells you where the ETF is compared to the 50-day moving average. So if this is the 50-day moving average, the white line here is 1 standard deviation below it. This is between 1 and 2 standard deviations is the pink line, and the right line and the red line is more than 2 standard deviations away. This thing here is between 0 and 1 standard deviations. The over bot line here is between 1 and 2 standard deviations above the 50-day moving average, and then the green, the darker green, is 2 standard deviations and above. So this is almost as if you're looking at the Bollinger Bands of the 50-day moving average, and then this is where the price would be within those Bollinger Bands. And the final column here is the net flow. So this shows you how much money has come in and out in millions over the past 4 weeks. This is the rank amongst all the 68 ETFs. This is a percentage of AUM. What percentage of AUM? I think this 149 million is. And then what the rank within the all the 68 ETF is. So you can kind of get a picture of whether money is coming in and out of these ETFs based on money flows. The next report is the asset class standings report. This report essentially gives you the major asset classes ordered by year to date, quarter to date, month to date, based on the rally or the drawdown. So let's go to year to date. This will show you the major asset classes. So we have selected a set of about 20 ETFs that represent major asset classes, such as the US dollar, the euro, the yen, big cap stocks, S&P 500, all stocks. So all the major asset classes are listed here, and they're ordered by year-to-date performance. You can also get reports by quarter-to-date, month-to-date, as well as the drawdown from the high and then rally from the bottom. In this case, this is ordered by year to date. So, for example, gold miners is the best performing major asset class, and then gold, then silver, etc. The next report is the ETF standings report, which again, we have these are all ETFs ordered by year to date, quarter to date, month to date, rally, and drawdown. So let's go to the year to date report. So as you can see, this has the entire universe of 68 ETFs, and again, they're ordered by year to date here. So we can see here that long volatility is the best ETF, then gold miners, then gold, and onwards. The next report is the ETF correlations report. In this report, we plot correlations between pairs of ETFs or pairs of asset classes. So in the very top here, we have stocks or the S&P 500 versus bonds, the TOT. We have stocks versus gold, SPY versus gold, and stocks versus real estate, SPY versus IWR. So when the correlations of these things is going down, we're in a risk-off mode. Like in this case, when the correlations of this is going up, so we're in a risk-on mode. On the left-hand side here, we have correlations within United States related asset classes. So we have here macro caps, the Dow Jones versus the all stock index, big caps versus the all stock index, mid caps versus the all stocks, and then small caps versus the all stock index. So in this case, you can see where money is flowing. In this case, money is going into the Dow Jones and into the big caps, and it's going away from the mid caps and the small caps. We also have a sector breakdown where we compare each sector versus the S&P 500. We have financials, technology, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, industrial, utilities, materials, healthcare, energy, home builders. So this gives you an idea where money is going inside of the S&P 500, where money is going into and where it's leaving. So for example, money is leaving the financials and technology and consumer discretionary and is going into the staples, utilities, industrials, and materials as of late. On the right hand side here, we have the world ETFs compared against each other. So we have the USA versus the world, we have developed versus the world, we have emerging versus the world, we have USA versus emerging, USA versus developed, and emerging versus developed. So in this case, you can kind of see that money is kind of staying within the United States and is leaving the developed stock markets, and was leaving the emerging stock markets, but they're kind of making a comeback as of late. And further below, we have regional comparison, which is the USA versus various regions or countries. So in this case, you can see USA versus Europe, USA versus China correlation, USA versus Japan. So you can see how the US is doing better against Europe, against China, against Japan. So most of the money is going into the United States. Then you have some other correlations: Europe versus developed, Japan versus developed, Europe versus China. So money is going into Europe. It's abandoning China. And then we have a few more: China versus emerging, Brazil versus emerging. These are within the region comparison. Then we have Germany versus Europe, France versus Europe. So you can see here how most of the money is going into France, and it's leaving Italy, and it's leaving Spain. And the final report is the gold correlations report, right here, which compares various gold related indices. So we have comparison of silver versus gold, gold miners versus gold, gold miners versus silver, gold versus stocks, gold versus bonds, gold versus real estate, gold versus the US dollar, gold versus commodities, and also energy versus oil. But in general, you can kind of see that gold is in a little bit of a uptrend again. Most major asset classes except for silver, which is lagging behind silver a little bit. So this is these are all the reports that are in the Vixcontango Hashtag subscription, which also includes the Vixcontango Plus subscription. And with that, we're going to finish this video.